And my caution was always the risk. Risk used to drive me right up the wall. I used to say, what if this happens? It's called the language of the poor. What if this happens? And on top of that, if this was to happen, look at the fix I'd be in. I better not try. I could always ace myself out. Then I'll tell you what changed my whole life when I finally discovered it's all risky. The minute you were born, it got risky. If you think trying is risky, wait till they hand you the bill for not trying.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bahja. If this is your first time seeing my face, then hey, welcome to the channel. And if you've been here before, like always, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you here with me. If you're seeing this video, then chances are you have a dream. There is a dream that has been placed within your heart, whether that's becoming a better version of yourself, moving cities, becoming a successful content creator, losing weight, becoming financially free or stable, starting a family, whatever it is, you have a goal in your heart. You know that you can become a better version of yourself, and you know you can build this dream life for yourself. But you're stuck in the what ifs. You're stuck in the planning process, thinking about all the worst case scenarios, all the things that might go wrong, and you don't actually do anything to move towards that goal. You've become paralyzed by this reality that you've created in your head. I too am a girl with a dream. I have goals, I have a vision, I have somewhere where I would like to go, but I spent a lot of time preparing and planning and stuck in the what ifs and all the limiting beliefs. I realized that I was so worried about the things that could happen, or the what if it doesn't work out, that I was taking the biggest risk of all, which was the risk of not doing anything with my life, just sitting around preparing and planning, but never actually putting one foot in front of the other. The truth is, it is all risky. Whether you decide to get married or not, it's risky. Whether you decide to start that business or not, it is risky. No matter how much you try to do the safer thing or the right thing, or you try to map out the things that could go wrong or the things that could happen in your head, you will never really know how it's going to turn out. And I think that's something that COVID has taught a lot of us, is you really never know what could happen. We are always in the unknown. There were people who decided to do the secure thing. There were people who gave up their dream of becoming who they wanted to become, and they decided to do the safe thing or look for security or do the right thing, which was get a job and climb the corporate ladder. And they've been staying with the same, company for decades, working their way up to a promotion or partner, whatever it is. When COVID came around, a lot of those people were dropped by their jobs like nothing, like it was nothing. They took the risk of doing the safe thing and the right thing, and they put all their eggs in that basket. Something happened and it was all gone. It was out of their control and it was all gone. And same thing happened when people took the risk of on a silly little app called TikTok, and they started posting videos, and that risk turned into them building an empire. It is all risky, but the biggest risk of all is not trying. The biggest risk of all is sitting on your potential, having this dream or this itch in the back of your throat and not doing anything to explore that. If you want to build your dream life and you want to reach your fullest potential and you want to build a life that is fulfilling to you, that you feel proud of, you have to learn to take risks. You have to learn to sit in that uncomfortable feeling of being in the unknown and not knowing how things are going to turn out. You have to become comfortable being uncomfortable. Everybody says that, but that is the only way to fully reach your fullest potential. And so in this video, I'm going to be walking you guys through how to overcome those feelings of, the what ifs and the negative emotions and the limiting beliefs, and also help you guys get an understanding of why risks feel so difficult, or why it's so hard for us to step into the unknown. Why is it that when we decide to make a change, we always think of the worst case scenarios? Sometimes, and a lot of times, these things happen subconsciously, and we don't even notice that we are holding ourselves back, that we are self-sabotaging. The reason is our brain simply does not like change. Our brain's job is to keep us safe. So the moment we decide to make any sort of change and step outside of our comfort zone, it says, I don't recognize this place. I don't recognize this. We need to be safe. And the safest thing is staying where we know. When we decide to take those risks, our brain tries to keep us where we are. So it tells us all these things. It gives us worst case scenarios. It paints these pictures so vividly for us to the point where we are stuck and we're paralyzed. Do you ever wonder why people stay in situations that are not healthy, whether that's toxic relationships, jobs that they don't like? They stay friends with people who are really terrible to them. It is because whether that thing is good for you or not, it is what you know. So it is where your brain is going to keep you. In fact, you're always going to seek out situations that are aligned with those beliefs that you have or those experiences that you've become used to. You're always going to seek that out. If you're in a situation, like let's say you are so used to having terrible relationships, right? When you go into a healthy relationship, you're going to panic. And subconsciously, a lot of times you're going to sabotage yourself because you're going to be looking for those patterns that you're used to. And when you don't find them, your brain is going to tell you, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of the situation that we've put ourselves in because it's uncomfortable. Whether you want it or not, okay, this thing could be good for you. You want a good relationship. You want to be healthy. You want to have a fulfilling job that you love. It's going to be hard for you to make those changes because your brain is not used to it. So we need to learn to work with our brains and overcome those feelings of uncomfort. We need to learn how to sit in those feelings of uncomfort and actually follow through. So the next time that you find yourself struggling to take those next steps or struggling to move forward, you have to pay attention to the thoughts that are going through your head, the story that you're telling yourself. So for me, for example, there's a time where I was really stuck in that preparation stage. I was fooling myself and telling myself, oh, I'm just preparing. I just need to learn more. Before I'm able to step into this new thing, I need to learn. I need to have all the tools. I need to have all the resources. And I was just planning and planning and planning and planning. But what I was doing was really pushing it away, and not doing the things that needed to be done. If I didn't take a moment to actually pay attention to the patterns of my thoughts and what I was telling myself and the story I was telling myself, I wouldn't have been able to call myself on my own BS. I would have continued to plan and continued to sit on my dreams and my goals and my potential because I was afraid. And that was really just the truth. And I had to reflect on that in order for me to even realize, oh my goodness, it's not that I'm just planning and I'm not ready and I need these things. I am afraid to put myself out there. I am afraid to take these next steps. Until you can call yourself out on those things and really recognize the root of the inability to take the next steps, you're not really going to be able to fix the problem. You're just going to continue to be where you are, and your brain is going to be happy. It's going to say, yup, I've done my job. Betcha has not taken the steps. I've done my job. We are exactly where we were a year ago. I've done my job. So you have to pay attention to the thought patterns. I'm not good enough. I'm going to be rejected. My mom is going to be really upset with me. She's going to disown me if I decide to do this. These are all just fears, imaginary realities that were created in your own brain, and it does that to keep you safe. But sometimes your brain takes it even further and creates these images in your head that are so vivid. So I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this. I'm sure you have, but let's say you want to start a business, right? This was my own personal thing. You want to start a business. Rather than thinking about the best case scenario and all the things that could go right, your brain immediately starts to say, okay, but what if it doesn't work out? And then you start to imagine the feeling, or you start to imagine so vividly those moments of failure when you fail and your mom says, I told you so. When you fail in front of a bunch of people and you actually start to feel that in your body, you actually start to, your heart begins to race, your hands start to sweat, and it literally manifests into your body, and it keeps you from actually doing the steps because your dream is not as real as those feelings that you feel in that moment. It's not as real as that image that you've created in your head. And so you're like, oh my goodness, I'm not going to actually take steps. It's not worth it. Or you get so scared that you decide you're not going to do anything about it. What was just an image in your head now becomes a reaction in your body. That risk feels so much greater than your dream. It feels so much bigger and greater than your dream. And then you just continue to stick to the things that you know. But let's say you decide to actually take that leap, okay? Let's say you decide, and this is something that I've experienced in my own life as well, but you decide that you are going to take this risk. You decide to sit in that feeling of uncomfort and remind yourself, no, I this is all in my head. This isn't real. I'm going to continue to look at the vision and imagine the vision and think of my dream life. You get through that first initial internal battle and you actually start making these changes. And, you're a week in or you're 2 weeks in, and you start to realize the pain of change, how much work actually goes into this dream and goes into this goal. Then these thoughts are going to start to come back into your head of maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe it's not meant to be, or there's going to be times where you go through struggles or challenges and things don't work out the way that you imagined or you hoped, and you think, okay, maybe this isn't for me. And then you go back to square one. Your dream then just feels so far away. The effort doesn't feel worth it anymore. The past few videos on my channel, if you guys have watched them, we've been talking about 2025 goals, and I told you guys I was not going to let you fail this year or give up on yourself. So got to keep that promise. But we are so excited in the beginning of the year. We set all these New Year's resolutions, but then when those things start to set in, that is when that self-sabotage kicks in and we go exactly back to the things that we knew because it was comfortable. And then the year goes by, we reach the end of the year and we don't like who we are. We don't like where we are. We've been trying to escape it, and then we do that cycle all over again. Overcoming yourself, overcoming your mind, and constantly reminding yourself your dream was not placed in your heart for no reason, and showing up every single day and trying to unlearn all that you've known is so difficult, and it's a lot of work. And I always see people say, what is the point? What is the point? It is so much work. I had someone comment, this is so much work. I just want to be rich. I just want to lose weight. I want it to be this quick fix, but it's never going to be. It is all risky. The thing that you might think is safer might just end up ruining you, or might just end up not working at all. And so you have to have faith that this dream was placed in your heart for a reason. Just move and go. Despite the challenges, despite all the obstacles and the things that might come your way, you have to believe in it enough, just as much as you believe in those fake scenarios that you've created in your head of all the things that could go wrong. Believe in the best case scenario. Y'all know that saying that is, what's meant for me is never gonna pass me. That is true, but that saying is meant to bring your heart peace and comfort when things aren't going the way that you expected. When you're putting yourself out there and you're pushing yourself into the unknown and you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, it's meant to bring you peace. When things don't go your way and you're experiencing that rejection, it's meant to bring you peace. What is meant for me will never miss me. So I'm going to keep pushing myself. I'm going to keep pushing. When you're being complacent, constantly choosing the safer option, and you know you're not using your potential to the fullest, or you're not doing much to reach your goal, that exact saying of what is meant for me will never miss me will literally upset you. It's going to cause so much anger and frustration within you because you're not going to be experiencing a life that is fulfilling to you or that you feel proud of. All those opportunities are just going to slip right past you if you become complacent and think, oh, it's just going to come to me. And then you're going to be like, oh, what is meant for me isn't going to pass me. Well, then why is nothing good happening in my life? Is it just not meant for me? Am I just not meant for goodness? Am I just not meant for good things? Reality is you just haven't been doing anything to actually move towards it. You haven't been thinking about, growing and evolving. And when you're in that mindset and you're thinking from that place of growth and evolution, you will see all the opportunities around you. So if you're just sitting and hiding behind what is meant for me is never going to pass me by, and you're not actually doing anything to build and explore and create, literally what the heck? Small risks lead to big confidence, okay? You have to intentionally start small. And this is something that I did for myself every single day. I would literally put in my to-do list, and I still do till this day, do something that scares you. Do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. I intentionally started taking small risks. And the best year for me so far on my journey has definitely been 2024, or I guess the most transformative one, because right before 2024, I said, F it, I'm just gonna go all in. Like literally, F it, I'm gonna go all in. I've been scared. I've been preparing. I've done everything that you could possibly do other than the thing. So I just threw myself into it. Starting YouTube last year was a risk. It might not seem like the big risks that my, immigrant parents, for example, took, but that risk felt so huge to me. Deciding that I wasn't going to take a high paying job with my degree, but instead taking the entrepreneurial route and, paving my own path is a risk. It still is a risk. But as you take these risks, they become so much easier to take. Your self-concept will change. Your self-concept will shift. You're going to see yourself differently. You're going to have a lot more confidence. It is those small, insignificant risks, such as, wearing a hijab to school for the first time, or deciding you're going to be different and your friends looking at you funny. It is those risks that are going to pave the path for bigger and greater risks. If you're still at the starting line, or you're hesitant of looking stupid at the gym, or looking stupid in front of your friends, or looking stupid for posting something online, let this be your sign, because those small, insignificant risks that feel so big now might one day lead to $1 million risk. Okay? It's going to lead to bigger things, bigger ideas. Remember that your brain is trying. It is trying to protect you. And so you have to rewire your brain through constant repetition, through practicing this new identity, practicing this new habit, and overcoming those imaginary realities that you create. The worst case scenario isn't even real, and remind yourself of that often. Now I'm going to share with you guys some practices that has really helped me build my confidence so that I could take bigger risks. The first practice that I want to share with you guys is do something that scares you every single day. I've already mentioned this, but make it a part of your routine. Make it a mission to do something scary every week, every day, every month. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone intentionally. Share your ideas online. Post a video. I don't know, whatever it is that you're so scared to do it. The second practice is start before you're ready, because you'll truly never be fully ready, and you'll never know how something's going to turn out unless you're actually in it and you're in the process of doing it. You will learn along the way. You will grow along the way. The best thing that you can do for yourself is start just before you're ready. And you want to purposely put yourself in that position for vulnerability, because that's the best way to grow and learn. The next practice is flipping the script. So the next time you're having those moments where you're thinking about the worst case scenario, grab your journal. I do this thing called best case scenario journaling. So I literally write down what is the best case scenario, or you can speak it out loud to yourself. You might look crazy. Don't do this in public. Do it in your car maybe. Say it out loud to yourself, because unless you're able to change your thoughts when you're in that position, it is going to paralyze you. It's going to feel so real, and it's going to keep you from actually doing the things that you need to do. So flip the script. What is the best case scenario? What if we imagine the best case scenario instead of the worst case scenario? Do you know how much confidence that would give us? Do you know how much motivation and inspiration that's going to give us? It is so important to remind yourself of your vision, which is why it's so important. I say this in every video, but is to have a clear vision. Clearly write down the best case scenario of what could happen with any goal, how it can change your life, how amazing it's going to feel when you've crossed that finish line, how amazing it's going to feel when you are unpacking in a new city. Imagine how amazing it's going to feel to meet new people. Imagine how incredible it's going to feel when you get the key to your new house, which, hey, I got my key today. You see what I mean? You have to imagine these things rather than the worst case scenario. Okay, the next thing is having a vision board. By having a visual, and 2 videos ago, I'm pretty sure it was my vision board video, you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision, and it has to be clear. Just as clear as the worst case scenario be in your head, you have to learn to vividly imagine the best case scenarios. So by having a vision board that is this visual representation of who you'd like to become, the life that you would like to create, it will help you so much in those moments where you are self-sabotaging. Trust me, put it in a place where you can see it. Remind yourself of it often. The next practice is embracing unfamiliar situations. Purposely, once again, it's so important to practice. The whole point of this is to practice, right? So purposely put yourself in a new environment, one that is uncomfortable for you. Put yourself in a situation where you have to be around people you never met, maybe go to a different city, try out a different gym. Purposely put yourself in positions that feel extremely uncomfortable. Over time, you will become more comfortable with that uncomfort of being in an unfamiliar place, and it will literally help you thrive. Because think about it, the reason why we have such a hard time actually doing what we need to do and taking those first steps and thriving and taking the risks that will completely change our lives is because we fear unfamiliarity. That's a hard word for me to say. Don't laugh. We fear it. So if you purposely put yourself in that situation, the more that you will become comfortable with being uncomfortable. Everybody feels this way. No matter how much we achieve, no matter how much anybody achieves, we all have moments where we don't feel good enough, or we all have moments of self-sabotage where that self-sabotage kicks in, where our brain tries to protect us from the unfamiliar, but you just need to become comfortable in that unfamiliar. So put yourself in positions and situations that are uncomfortable. Put yourself out there. Constantly try new things and immerse yourself in different cultures and ideas, and just be comfortable being uncomfortable. The next one is don't believe everything that you think. Please, it is not real. Try to observe your thoughts just as they're passing by, like passing clouds. They come and they go. They come and they go. Remember that. It is not real. Even me personally, a lot of the things that I was so afraid of, girl, ask me if it ever happened. It never happened. The times where, I was going through something and it felt like it was never going to end, those passed. So you have to understand that everything that you think is not real, nor is it you. So by attaching yourself and identifying with your thoughts, you're throwing away your potential. So you have to recognize that it is not real. It is not real. It is not real. It is not real. A few months ago, there was this period where I had really bad anxiety, and I was literally like thinking of the worst case scenarios or thinking I wasn't good enough. And I had to speak it out loud. I had to speak out loud and tell myself, Bahja, you are safe. Nothing is going wrong right now. And so you have to learn to self-regulate. You have to learn to almost baby yourself. It's really embarrassing, but that's the only way. And yes, it's a lot of work, but wait till, like Jim Rohn said, wait till they hand you the bill of not trying. And the last practice is praying for everything that you want. Prayer is literally the foundation of my self-development journey. Understanding that every single situation that you're in is from God. Only good comes from God. And just remembering God in general through your journey, it has helped so much. The idea of nothing that is meant for me will pass me, that's faith. Faith comes through when you're actually moving towards something, when you're actually putting yourself out into that uncomfortable, unfamiliar place. Faith is recognizing that you are always in the unknown and nobody knows how things are going to go except for God, and leaning on Him. So if you always try to do the safe thing because you think you know best, think again, because anything can happen and it can all fall apart. So I would rather live a life where I'm staying true to myself and uncovering my potential and doing the best that I can to move towards a better version of myself and move towards things that I know will better my life, whether that's health, whether that's well-being, whether that's financial security. I would rather take that risk than take the risk of not trying at all. I would rather take that risk than taking the risk of just going through the motions and letting life hit me. It's consciously making intentional choices, becoming intentional with the things that you do every single day. When you're doing that, what is really there to worry about? If you put one foot in front of the other and you wake up every single day and you move towards goodness, things that will better your life, what is there to worry about? Sometimes things might not go right, but you have to have faith and you have to believe that it is all leading you exactly where you are meant to be. And even if that place is not what you imagined it, you have to trust and believe that it will lead to something better than you could have imagined. And God comes through every single time as long as you remember Him, as long as you acknowledge Him. It's so crazy because I think I've experienced so many things in my life that, when God places something in your heart, I know everything comes from God, right? I believe that truly. Everything comes from God. And that includes the dreams that I hold, the vision that I have. I trust that it was placed in my heart for a reason. And by exploring that and going after that, I will experience the beautiful path that God has created for me. And so it is all risky. Whether you do the thing or not, it is risky. But the biggest risk of all is sitting on your and doing nothing to better your life and just hoping and praying that a miracle comes and you get everything that is in your heart. everything that you could have ever dreamed of. It might happen, but isn't it risky? Isn't it risky to take that path? That is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that it gave you guys some hope. It inspired you to go after your dream and to keep going if you're on that journey. I love you all so much, and I hope to see you next time.